Meeting is commenced at 8:30 a.m. and we are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So Michelle is not here. Dick is here. Gary is not. Chelsea is not. TBD from the village is Susan, and she is here, and she is no longer TBD. Thank you for joining us, Susan. It's great to have a member of the village on the team. Brian was supposed to be here, and there he is. So Brian is joining as well after traveling the world.
Glad to see you made it, yeah.
Welcome back. Rick has joined us.
Getting sketchy over there.
And Matt is with us, and Sherry is with us. Okay, so, minutes. Is there someone who has read and is willing to, do a motion to approve the minutes from last week or last month, or make any amendments to those?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, minutes. Anyone opposed? Minutes are accepted, okay? Public comment, Grant, anything?
Nope.
Okay. Correspondence, I am not aware of any correspondence. Calendar review, so, let's see if I am capable of sharing. Just for this. Just let me find it.
Hey, Vic, while you're looking that up, could I ask you a quick question, please?
Yeah,
When you're sending out the invites, is there any way to put an invitation so it automatically locks into our calendars?
say, yeah, I don't know. But you could research that for me.
Okay, I'll be more than happy to.
Yeah, because that's at this point, I've not even thought about that. But let me get back to where we were. I want to see if I can't share the screen. Okay, so let's try this. All right, so let me go back to the dashboard. All right, are you guys online seeing a statement that has survey up on the top and the project's 5-year budget and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, just three areas: projects, 5-year budget, and yes, we do. Or I
All
do.
right. So yeah, and I got the thumbs up from Gene. This is the area where we had talked about. I know I showed it a little bit last time, but everybody wasn't here. I just want to get everybody on the same page. So this is kind of our master. If you click on the survey, it takes you to the survey results. If you click on any of the projects, it's going to take you to the project. You click on any month, it's going to take us to that month, what the assignments are for that month, and that sort of thing. And so what we're trying to do, and you'll see when we get to the budget, that Gene's been working many more hours than we had anticipated. But Gene is an employee, whereas I'm just a volunteer citizen. And so she's been getting much more involved with the contracts, getting this done, getting that done, talking to people that have to do this, that, and the other thing. And so her hours were up significantly more. And we're going to use these monthly things to go over everything that Gene and I need to be thinking about just to keep the train rolling. And then are there any assignments for the group? And then second to that, there are some things that we keep talking about each month. Y'all do that, y'all do that. But I haven't been keeping track of, well, is it done yet? So we're gonna look at what has to happen each month, and then we're gonna look at the overall assignments. And it's not so much a matter of rattling change, it's a matter of, did I hear it right? Are you really working on this, or should we just knock it off the list? So, oh yeah, right, and so for the month of January. Yeah, my link isn't working, of course not. For January. The only thing that I've got was Gene sent emails about summer programming to program leads, and I don't know whether that's done or not. Done. Okay, that's beautiful. So what I want to do is shoot, I'm in full screen now, so I don't. Well, yeah, just would you, I just gonna cross that out,
Yeah.
okay? Then Gene, Tyler, and Brian with the Conservation District plan and conduct educational program and field day for invasive species, including barberry for community landowner, dry run on 220. So there was something done at 220. Did anybody go to that at FAR about invasive species?
No, but I heard that it was absolutely fabulous and that Shelley was a really good speaker.
So the question is, if you guys recall, 3 or 4 meetings ago, we talked about several different things. We talked about, if we get rid of all the invasives in our parks, but the neighbors around us don't, they're just going to keep coming in. Should we do public meetings? And there was this discussion where Gene, Tyler, Brian, we're going to get together and maybe put something together about invasive species, or I heard it wrong. So I'm just asking, should we as Parks and Rec be doing something patterned after what happened at the FAR Center and actually using the person that did it at FAR Center, or is enough enough? And I'm okay at whatever way, I just want to clean up the assignment.
I think it's good to continue that, just keep hammering it. So especially, I was gone, maybe a lot of people were gone then. As people are back in the spring and summer, they have other events, so.
I agree.
So then, Gene and Brian, Tyler is no longer with us. He's gotten a new promotion and therefore he just didn't have time. So, one thing is we'll pull Tyler off that. Michelle had also talked about it. So what's the next steps? I mean, should we just have the lady that did it before do another one at FAR Center, ask her to do that? Should we put it on our website? I mean,
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, don't reinvent the wheel. They've
Yeah.
already got a tried and true successful program. We just need to offer it at a time for other, times are important to offer to other people, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so, who owns it?
I do.
Gene, okay, Gene. All right, so you'll take that and sometime in the summer months when people get back, we'll do another one.
And we do a bio blitz in June, and it may be that we can do something, if we're already getting people to come to North Point Park for a bio blitz, we may also be able to do this at the same time. So I will take it under advisement as to when and where we should do the next one.
So Gene, Sherry, my notes would be just pull this off of January as a completed item.
Okay, got it.
And then you also were checking on supplies for the Langland bathroom and that sort of stuff. That's all done, right?
We're good.
Done. All right, so my item 7, I can cross that off as well. I talked to Jennifer and about the mowing and all that sort of stuff, and we've lost the guy that's doing the mowing. You don't worry about this. We've lost the guy that's doing the mowing. She's gonna put it out to bid, including Anthony. So that's the January stuff. The February stuff that it remained open was C&W porta potties, North Point all year, Glen Park, June, July. That's just something, Gene, I think you and I need to work with Jennifer just to make sure, is this in place? Okay, so will you take that? I mean, and you had
Yes.
asked me to move all your assignments into this month since you're out next month, so. And then the Langland gazebo paint, I put in the budget for next year, so we'll have to see whether it's gonna get done or not. Anything new on that?
No, I haven't, Grant hasn't got back to me, so let's wait to see if we get get it in the budget. And I will reach out and to him again, because now we have a signed contract as far as I can tell. And all we need to do is get him to schedule it, and then we would need to get the money to him.
If he wants some, 50% down or something, whatever. We'll just make it happen. All right. So, budget won't actually be approved until the mid-March meeting. So that's good. I think we're good. Okay. So then, March, it's got March and April there. And, also you'll notice it's got the grant due dates and such on each month. And, I'll bring that up in just a minute. I am submitting a grant, tonight to meet the March 1st deadline for MCCF. We'll talk about that. And then the board also approved that we go forward with the DNR grant. But that's just there. And as we learn about more grants, we'll put them on here. So we no longer have, hey, guess what? There's a grant due next week and we don't do anything about it. We're looking at it 3 or 4 months in advance.
Hey, Beck,
Yeah.
I had an action item on your other list. I don't know if you've merged them together on grants, and I sent that to everybody this week. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. It was a bit overwhelming in that I just couldn't figure out which one of those really apply to us. It was kind of like what we saw yesterday. Matt and I went to the DNR MCCF meeting, and they gave out a really nice brochure that showed all the DNR grants, including one for terrestrial invasive species. And I thought, well, this is pretty good to know. So we'll learn more about those. Is there any way you could take that list and more synthesize it into what really works for us? Because I want to take what I'm finding on the DNR and what you found, pick the ones that really we have a chance at, get the deadline, and then move that information to this calendar so that we're all working off of one song sheet.
I'd be more than happy to, but I need some help. What I
Okay.
need to know is what are the categories or the projects that we want to look at? And then what I'll do is I'll review the grants and rate them on what's applicable.
All right.
Does that make
So,
sense?
yeah, it does. And remind me, we got to come back to March, but that's where this master document is in place, because if you go to the dashboard, the only thing that we've got right now is the Langland ADA walkway, the DNR boat launch. Both of those are on the way, handled. North Point Fitness Trail I'm working on. Wetlands project is being handled. Brian's on top of that. Glen Park, we're going to do a DNR grant for this month. And then Fitness Court and Studio is a big project that we talked about that could be a couple years out. Disc golf is another one that we're working on, and we're going to have Brian, and it was Tyler, to do some assessments of places that we can do it. The trail project, Rick, you know all about that. Eagle View is one that we're thinking about, and the length. That is it, Rick. That's all we've got. And then of course,
So do you want me to use all those and then bounce grants against them?
Absolutely, because if you go to the 5 years funding schedule,
Yeah.
and you look at what we've got, you see that we're hitting up MCCF every single year, and maybe we get lucky with that. But we're also going to the Michigan National Trust Fund, and I think we're going to be okay getting an MDNR grant from the trust fund for Glenn. We're rolling the dice with Glenn, but it's going in. We'll see if it works. Ed encouraged me that when Manistee City went for a bid, they went 3 years in a row and actually went down to Lansing, and he felt like going down to Lansing got it sold. I think Glenn's going to be a harder sell. We've already lost that one time, but we're putting it in now. And then when yours goes in, Jeremy's telling me that their biggest priority is trails. So you're going to get bonus points for trails. Even if we get the Glen, I still think the bonus, because they are all hot to trot on trails, we can get both of those. But if we come back let me finish, Rick. If we come back the following year for Eagle View, I think DNR is going to say, whoa, just a minute. And they're not going to say it in those words. In their criteria, they look at how many bids you've been awarded over the last 10 years. And for each one you're awarded, you'll lose points on the current one. So, long answer to your question, Rick. Yeah, these are the ones that are on the table. And we have to realize that I don't think we got much of a chance on getting an Eagle View if we're successful in getting Glen and trails.
I totally agree with you. And when I was going through this, for example, there's a lot of grants towards, let's say, that ADA walkway at Langland.
Yeah,
And just to reiterate your point, we don't want to wear our welcome out with the community foundation. So I think we also, once we get this grid together, we got to roll out how many times are we going after one source, if there's other ones available. And through that list I just did some deep dive searching. There's quite a few niche ones out there. Not to say they're easy, but we got to make sure when we're going to the foundation, we also communicate what other services we're using so they don't feel like we're just pulling on them too much. Because
right.
I think we have the ball rolling down that we're going to be able to have opportunity to go to them quite a few times with these projects. But what I'll do is I'll take these projects and I'll put those grants against them and I'll try to rate them or rank them. And if anybody else has any other lists or you got some list pick that you got or whatever, send it to me and I can incorporate it into a master list.
Rick, just so you know, we had a meeting yesterday at the Manistee Community Foundation, and it was made very clear to everyone there that the Manistee Community Foundation, I think they want to be included on everything, like almost, I would say not consultant, but like let's say we have 11 projects. I don't think there's any harm at all in saying, hey, here are our 11 projects. Here's, some of the stuff we're thinking about. Here are some ballpark figures. So they're aware of it because they're more than willing to sit down and help with, they have help with grant money, connections, all this, a lot of the services that sometimes we are looking for or asking about. They either have a contact person or know somewhere, or they are themselves are willing to help both in kind and financially. Even if it was a small, one of their little mini grants that's out of cycle for $5,000,
Yeah.
I don't think they're opposed to those things. I think that's something they're very willing, especially that it's so community based for the Minger. Anything that could be construed as a Minger fund, I would never say don't run it by them.
Well, I've taken them through this
Yeah.
plan and they were geeked about it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
They love it because it helps them in their 5 years.
right, and I don't think we're gonna wear out any welcome with them. They're happy to see somebody or an entity like this township that is organized and saying things like, hey, we have a 5-year plan. We would like to do these things. Then they can make a plan of their own to help
Right.
fund it. So I'd say we hit them up, not, or not necessarily ask them for the money, but just let them, here's what we are planning, here's what we're gonna do, like you did. And I think they're gonna come back at us and say, hey, keep us in mind when you get to that point, come ask us for some money.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they said a nice slide of how
Yeah,
we should use DNR money
yeah,
to meet their match requirements. How
Right.
we should use their money to meet DNR match requirements.
It
So
was
they're
cool.
they're all over it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Go ahead.
that's a good point, but I just think we ought to have some other options too. I know, that meeting we had with you, Matt, and Vic on the trail or whatever. Yeah, they're very good. I just think if we truly get this machine running and we really start dialing things in, maybe I'm being too optimistic, but just to have some other options out there.
That's a great idea too.
Yeah, my only hope is that this document can morph, but the fact is it wanted to be what we're looking at every month to make sure that we're all on the same page and updating it. So somehow if we can incorporate all of those into things that work for us using the plans that we have in place right now and any other plans we come up with, then that would be great. So we're gonna lose Gene. I want to get back to the assignments. So Gene, I think we left off in March. The first thing that I'm seeing is this barberry removal of plants. I think we're obviously well in advance of that. Should I be moving this to another month? Or should we begin talking because this goes to the other assignment, where Gene and Michelle are supposed to get me a list of the types of volunteers, like weeders, cleanup, event, whatever. I don't know what they are, but I want to put those out on the website so we get a sign up form and all that. When do we begin to support organize the Barberry removal events? Or is this something that I just? No, because someone actually said we can use our dumpster, so
No.
what's the next step on this? Who owns it?
Um,
Gene?
I will own it. I want to, the lady who Shelley, I want to coordinate with her and find out if they're going to have the conservation district for the last several years has had a Barberry turn-in day. And so I need to find that out, and because we cannot put this stuff in our dumpsters unless we double bag it. And then that is just not a possibility. So before we remove it, I need to figure out what we're going to do with it.
So then, does it belong in March, or should we move it? And is there any way you would have me change the wording of this assignment?
You can leave it, and I would leave it for March because I'm going to start working on it this month.
Okay,
Jean, do you want the use our dumpster removed?
Yes. Thank
okay.
you, Shelley. Yes, we can't
All
use
right,
it.
so 2 is follow up on storage solutions. What's going on with storage?
All right, so I just texted Austin, who is the owner of the Bear Lake Storage, to make sure that we were still on track for the April 1st, and he promised me that we were. So I should be able to get everything out of my summer place before I go away for the month of April.
Three is done. 4 is Gene work to organize volunteer day at Carden. So this is another invasive species thing. Should we combine this with the Barberry, or should the Carden thing remain separate? I mean, we've spent all that money at Carden to get it cleaned up. I haven't looked at it myself. I don't know whether it's gotten bad again, but it's my understanding it has.
Right, and I was really, to be totally honest, I was really relying on Tyler to help with this project because I'm
Okay.
not as well versed as him. So I need to figure out who's going to help me figure out what we're pulling and what we're not pulling at Carden.
Could that lady that did the
Yeah,
presentation?
Shelley may be able to. So I'll just leave it as it is, because it is a separate issue from
We'll add Shelley's name to it just so that we're reminded of this conversation. So that'll be a Gene and Shelley.
Vic, something you might want to add to Carden Park, just to like a quick assessment of the dead trees that are dead at the top.
So I'll tell you, and when we looked at this issue before, the only trees that we should remove is something that's going to injure somebody, according to what Tyler told me 2 years ago. That the trees that are there serve a purpose. I mean, dead trees serve a purpose. So he did not think we should be using funds to remove dead trees unless they were in danger of hurting somebody.
I said the trees that are dead at the top that snap off and come down, that's probably not a good thing to have in the park. I don't go there.
Well, who owns it? Nobody goes there. That's
I
the,
just don't like, I was there last summer looking around and I just noticed a few trees right in the kind of the mowed area.
Right.
That are dead at the top,
okay.
which that typically means that piece of tree is gonna come down at some point. And I don't know if you can cut the top off and leave the bottom of the tree is important, leave the bottom of the tree. But and they're popple trees, and popple trees, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with, those things snap and wind. And they come down and they kill people. So that's just something to be aware
They're
of.
poplar?
Yeah, they're poplar trees and they snap like a toothpick.
So who should we go to? Should we go back to Tyler and not as a board committee member, but as the conservation district? Or who has anyone replaced them? I don't think he's got funding to get replaced.
No.
I just somebody that could look up and say, ooh, geez, can you cut the top of that thing off and let it fall and get rid of it, or leave it lay, whatever you want to do. But I just hate to see something that's 30 feet in the air, like a dead branch let's say it's only like that big around, that's still gonna hurt you.
Okay, so
maybe
I just noticed last year that it looked kind of sketchy.
The fact that you noticed, like,
I was like, ugh. You wouldn't want to necessarily be,
so
just would
we
go
have
ahead.
used we have used Anthony's to do tree removal, and we could certainly get Anthony to meet one of us out there and look at it and give us advice as to how much it's going to cost.
Okay.
And I've done that before where somebody's met Anthony and then he tells us it's going to cost us $1,000 or whatever, and then
So will you, add that to your April list? No, your May list.
my May list, yes.
All right.
Hey, Beck,
Yep.
to your point, there's no plan to replace Tyler for the next 6 months. They're going to see if they can do it without that position. So if we need resources for that category, we might have to find an alternative or go outside, just FYI.
Josh Field's still there?
Josh is still there, right?
Yeah,
He's a really good tree
yeah.
guy.
He is, but he got promoted up, Tyler took his position and so trying to get Josh is not an easy,
So
Harder than Tyler.
Tyler took Josh's position and they're not replacing Tyler.
For the next 6 months, yeah, they're trying to see if they can get it without it from a budget standpoint.
Well, then I think we should just hammer them with requests. I mean,
We still need the knowledge.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we needed Tyler in the worst way. I mean,
That's
All
why I
right.
brought it up.
okay.
Good job.
So we gotta keep moving here. Okay, you've got the yoga instructor thing handled, right?
I actually only have some of my dates filled because one of my instructors is not available anymore. So I am looking for new people. But yes, I am working on that.
I added 2 more days to the budget too.
Also, and I do have those evening ones. Carrie said she would do those. So
Okay,
that's
so
good.
those are the new ones that are covered. So now you just got, okay, but you own that. We don't need to
I do.
worry about it.
Don't worry
All
about it.
right. Irrigation contract is kind of the same thing. I put it in the budget because it didn't happen. In my note to Ed, I said I bumped it because, it's gonna get bumped. Is there anything that needs to happen on that or?
Caleb and I are supposed to talk this month, March, and I'm gonna loop Grant in probably in that because he did that wonderful mapping of where all the trees are, where we need the irrigation.
Okay,
And I have a question to ask of you guys. There is irrigation that goes out that used to be used when North Point Park was an arboretum. We did not irrigate any trees in that area last year. And Caleb suggested that we could use those materials, since we're not using it, we could use those materials for the irrigation that we really do need in the Cedar Grove.
contract for more money?
Pardon?
Is that another contract for more money?
No, that would potentially save us money on the supply part of that contract.
Well, just from saving money perspective, I would say yes, but I'm not really educated enough to make a environmental decision. Brian, does what she's saying make sense to you?
You're just switching the irrigation that's in place now for the arboretum and pulling it over to the Cedar Grove, right?
Correct.
Sounds great.
Okay. You want to go forward with it?
Yeah, I will
All
make.
right. And you're going to do that in April or May?
I'm going to talk to Caleb this month, and then we can get it set up for hopefully well, it's got to happen before May 8th.
Okay. So because I'm sharing, I'm at full screen. I can't see all my controls to take notes and all that sort of thing. So Sherry's going to help me a little bit, but also, since you own this, I'd kind of like you and I to work closely on this calendar, give you access to it and make sure that we're on the same page. Okay.
Awesome.
So this is arboretum rerouting or something like that.
Yes.
It's really hard for me to remember what these friggin' notes mean, but that's my own personal problem. Okay, what about the door repaint and the lock?
All right. So I have not followed through on that one at all. So I need to call him because did we budget for that? That's one that I haven't touched at all. I'll just be honest.
As a matter of fact, you just caught me in a mistake. I did not budget for that because that was supposed to be done last year. So, but we need to call this guy, Todd Hoffman, and say, you know, what's going on? I think he responded saying that, he tried to fix the existing one. He was comfortable that all he needed to do is get the sand out of the rollers or whatever it was. And I think he responded back, said, no, I can't do that. I need to replace it. I guess what I'll Dick to find his mail and get it to you.
Okay.
Email. All right. Northern disposal, is that, oh, what about well management? Anything going on with that?
So that's part of my conversation with Caleb.
Okay, all right. All right, Northern disposal, we're canceling Republic. Any discussions on canceling Republic and going with Northern, confirming that with Jennifer?
And I had asked that we also cancel the contract for North Point Park with Republic and go with Northern there as well.
Is that in the works with Jennifer? Have you had that conversation? And does she think she owns it?
I might need to follow up and make sure she owns it.
Would you?
Yes.
Can I make a
Okay,
comment?
yep.
Do we have scheduled this year to flex our disposal towards holiday season or weekends?
What we've done is we have gone to a new vendor who is going to be coming in the mornings throughout the summer, so we don't have the problems that we had last year. And Gene, I also think that we have increased the number of visits during that time, but I'm working from memory. What's your memory?
So what we did last year, and hopefully, and I will make sure that Northern knows this too, during those busy times, then instead of one time per week, they would come twice a week.
Okay.
Just for those really, like 4th of July,
Yeah.
for instance. Just
Yeah,
make
that's
sure.
what I was referring to because, you know, I did some work on that a while back and I filled my pickup truck last 4th of July with a bunch of garbage and stuff. So as long as we accommodate that this year, that was my only point. Thank you.
Yeah, we will try. One of the issues for the public was they would show up and they couldn't get in there because of the parking issue. And they
Yeah.
would not work with us to come earlier in the day when parking would not have been an issue. So,
You know, Gene, I don't know if this is an option, but doubling up a dumpster, especially in that 4th of July, might be another option too to look at.
so the expense of getting one dropped and taken away is probably a lot more than just doubling up the amount of times they come and get rid of it.
Okay, thank you.
We had lots of conversation about this, and that's why Gene and I went to Northern, and we kind of gave them, if you can't do this, we don't want to talk to you. And they said, we'll do it, we'll do it, we'll do it. So that's why we switched. I can't remember all the conversations, but the whole intent of going to them was to deal with the problem that we had last year. So, sorry, so you'll make sure that she and Mandy understand that's theirs, including the North Point part.
Yep, I will be going there at the my winter gig is pretty much stopped. So
Right.
next Monday I'm planning on going to the office and talking to them.
All right, kayak installation, the people at Swiderski have assured me that it's actually on their wall calendar, so they won't miss the installation or the takeout. But Gene, it never hurts to have it on our calendar to make sure, you know, is it gonna happen?
We had to bother them last year. They did, and then it turned out that they were doing something, dredging, and so then we had to call them off again. So yes.
Right. Okay, and then the April ones were the whole that I moved to this month, or the power back, or just make sure that we're up to speed with those guys. This is another one, you know, is this part of the contracts that Jennifer and Mandy are working with, or do we need to be knocking on doors and reminding people?
So last year I had to tell Andy to start the power washing. So that's part of what I have on my calendar is just to remind them we need to start this power washing, you know, and it needs to be once a week and whatever.
Okay. All right. That's okay. So there's a holding tank, and then there's also the power washing. In the holding tank, we think about maybe moving to a different vendor this year, just because that guy's so far away. I'm not sure where we are on that.
Yeah, and I believe we only need to do that in the fall. But I will make sure that that's the case.
All right.
But yes,
And
we need
then,
a new vendor.
what? All right, and then I was out at Langland last night and, we got lots of sand to move, so, we'll get with, Anthony's on that. And I'd like to have Anthony's visit when, Greg Welch, visits on the ADA walkway. So, now let's move quickly to the open assignments, just again, to make sure that we're all working on it. Current, I've got Michelle and Jean doing the draft of the items we talked about for the website, so whenever that's available, that would be great. Everybody, please understand that we went to a new web vendor. They ported all of our information over in November. So everything I do on the new site, I have to do on the old site. And it looks like we're gonna be on the old site for a long time, because when they ported it to the new site, it's horrible. They didn't include our calendars. It's just all messed up. And given Jennifer and Ed's amount of time to work on it, I think it's gonna be a long time before that's up and running. So, a lot of stuff's gonna be done on the old website, and I think we just have to live with that for a while. But Gene, I need those because I want to get rolling on this volunteer thing. This one about Michelle doing a deeper dive into legislative earmark, I think we need to cross that off, because I know what earmarks are. They're just a matter of, if you've got a project that your local your local legislature thinks is the greatest thing in the world. So they're not open on Friday. So that I think would be part of the discussion that Rick's put together with all possible places we can get funding, but I don't really think legislative earmarks or something that's gonna happen for Onekama, Michigan.
No, we don't have enough people to cast an important enough voting block,
No.
so.
Gene follow up on water testing results. I think that's a duplication. Michelle worked with Gene on 2027 winter activities. So yeah, we talked about doing the snowshoe thing, and then Michelle said, wait a minute, I got too much. Let's just plan on next year. So hopefully we're gonna do something next year. Vic meet with MCCF to clarify if we can do two. I don't know, what is this one? Okay, so I have to meet with MCCF. They asked me to come back after I get the grant submitted for Langland to talk about exactly how we work on the Glen Park one. So I'll do that. I've got Tyler and Brian assess potential locations for disc golf and other recreation uses at North Point or other township property when the snow melts. So we got a lot of people that really like the whole idea of disc golf. We want to make sure that we don't create a situation that is negative at North Point, but we also want to do an assessment of, is there a possibility of doing it there and doing it right? Michelle and Tyler came back to me later and said, Vic, we need to go look at that property at 11 and because that's just sensational property for trails, for bike, possibly mountain bike trail, and for that. And so there's been a lot of back and forth on where do we do it. Let's just go assess all of our locations and come up with a recommendation.
I'd be
And
happy to help you on that too.
Yeah, I'd like to, I don't know where the property is.
Oh, yeah, I can-
Steve out there.
yeah, 11 Mile and Erdman, we own 10 acres, and I can give you a map using Onyx Hunt, that sort of thing. And Tyler seemed a little bit geeked about that one, so I know that he's busy, but it may be worth reaching out to him to say, you want to go look at him?
Yeah,
I'll help out with
Matt,
that.
yeah, Matt could help us out.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying not Matt, but I mean,
Well, you kinda are.
no, I'm not.
I'm just shitting you.
Okay, so
Nope.
you
Tyler's
guys,
probably on maternity leave too, paternity leave.
Oh, that's right, he's on maternity leave.
oh, that's right.
Oh, Tyler is. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we.
I-
can-
they have the baby
I
already?
know, it does.
But
What
not
I
yet,
could do with
It's coming
snowshoes.
soon.
No.
yeah, he's not gone yet.
But I think he's going, cause I talked to him after our last meeting and he was, I said, hey, I gotta know about this maternity leave thing. I didn't think you could get it. And he's like, oh yeah, it's a new, like, cause I took a day and a half off when I had my kid.
It's different today than it used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, family leave act.
A day and a
changed
half.
lot.
So I got.
Yeah, it was like 6 hours.
All right, so this is Matt and Brian.
Yeah.
Michelle take others of a tour of the existing local path at North Point to evaluate its suitability for additional trails.
And I just wanna make a mention of something that came to my attention just recently. And I'm not a disc golf guy, I don't really know much about it, but So it's called Ambrose Cellars.
Mhm.
St. Ambrose Sellers.
St. Ambrose, they're having, like, so they're sponsoring this huge thing. Disc golf tournament, food truck, wine tasting, craft beer. And they're basing it all on multiple disc golf courses where they're having a huge tournament over a couple day period.
Yeah.
And they have, so in my mind, I'm thinking, man, we gotta tap into that market too if we can.
Yeah.
And do, I mean, maybe it's not on the scale of that, but the scale of
Well,
Onekama.
are they going to various,
Yeah,
well, so they could go to ours too.
well, that's what I'm saying. Right now, we have nothing, so we have to, when I read that, I'm like, I would have never thought about a, a tournament where and part of our survival as the Onekama Township is tourism,
Sure.
bringing people here, and once they see it, they say, wow, I'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
So doing things that promote that kind of tourism and people coming to look at stuff, I think is hugely important. And if it's something that we can look at our available properties and evaluate and say, hey, we have a first class disc golf or something that's gonna attract people, that they would be able to use that in conjunction with a tournament, or we sponsor our own tournament and have something at the park, at the village where they have a food truck or on site. That sounds like a win-win for everybody.
I'm in.
Okay, I would have never heard of that or thought of it until I saw it on the St. Ambrose site,
Are
so.
they including Manistee, kind of like Manistee and Udall Hill?
I don't, they might,
Okay.
but they're a little farther north and they have a couple nice courses north, so, but why not, now that I know about this, I'm like, well, why couldn't we get our stuff south and do something similar, or, there's breweries, there's wineries, there's a place out in Calaba, or not Calaba, but Chief.
Yeah, the ones, northern.
Jeff, you gotta go?
I gotta go.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, I think we pretty much got through the assignment, so, but you and I need to get together and kind of go in and clean it all up and then have dual access to it.
Absolutely.
Maybe next week.
Next week sounds good to me. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
All right, so, the next one.
Hey,
prior
Dick?
to- Yeah. Go ahead, Rick.
What's the grant number can you hear me?
Yes?
What's the grant number breakdown you're going for the project with the trust fund and MCFF?
MCCF asked me
Yep.
to come back to them after the submission for the Langland sometime during the month of April to discuss what the mix would be. It just so happens that at their meeting yesterday, in the demonstration of how to use matches to help each other, they had a $400,000 project. And in it, they penciled in some numbers about how much MCCF would do, how much the government entity would do, and how much the DNR would do. And I don't have those notes in front of me right now, but they looked like numbers that I could sell to the township. And it looked like numbers that they were putting in front of us based on a $400,000 project. And oh, by the way, 2 weeks ago, I showed them about a $400,000 project. So maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions, but I'll have to look at that. And, but again, they asked me not to bring it to them until I'm done getting this submission in. So I'm gonna do that maybe next week or the week after.
Thank you.
Okay, the website thing I told you a little bit about, Brian and Sherry are working, with the master, and then last week, Chelsea said, I feel like I need to help a little bit more. So, one thing I wanted to show you is, I don't recall whether you guys remember, did I send you a spreadsheet?
Yeah, everything.
You had that? I showed this, let me see if I can't find what I want to show everybody. There it is right there. I was thrilled that Beckett and Rader did this for us at no charge. Remember that the complaint I have with the map that we put together a few years ago was our goal was to have all these numbers on this thing,
Yeah.
but in the same place, be able to see, well, what's the legend? What does the number mean? And I always had this vision that right up here, we were just gonna insert what is the, page whatever of the road and ordinance and have that list there. But in discussing mapping with, Katie at the county and then Beckett and Rader, they said, well, let us just help you. And I thought, well, I'm certainly okay with that. And the way it ended up is they built this. And so now every single number is accounted for, and it shows you, whether it's public access, whether it's a county, whether it's observation, and then it's a link to the road end ordinance and the actually correct one. The blue ones are water access governed by the township. These are, the brown are county road ends, not governed by us. And then the little ones you can't see are the observation areas, which we don't want you on. And now it lists all of them. And there was a lot of discussion about, how pretty it is. We've had several different iterations, but at least at this point, in working on the county one, which we have to do because it's their format with all those columns across the top. And my conversation to her was, I don't even know what some of those things mean. And she said, well, if you go to the 5-year plan, every one of those is explained. So we just have to do all of ours, but now there's a cross-reference that says, while we use their ugly map, at least we've got this one to cross-reference, okay?
That's gorgeous.
So we're gonna have to, and again, we're way ahead of the game. We're done with every other of the outputs for the 5-year plan. I'm gonna submit the document that we took everybody through last month, which has, here's what it said last time, here's what it says this time. I'm gonna submit that to the board so that they bless it. I'll probably do that in April. And then we're gonna need to begin working our way through their ugly document. But I think with this now, if there's something on their document that's not here, I'm really curious about what that is. It may be something that is new that we probably should have added to this.
I just love it. I love the coordination, the category, the way they categorized everything. It's ease of use, like it's brilliant because that's where I was really struggling is identifying what's what. So this is fabulous.
All right.
Thank you.
So that project, if we can get that done in the next, it's gotta be
Okay.
done by say June, July. Because I think that they're gonna really be in earnest,
Okay.
by like the August timeframe. The mapping one, like I said, I was able to work with them, and really what's come to my recognition after doing all this is I think we're just kind of married to Beckett and Ray. Because the way they did this, I had them provide all their GIS files or whatever they are to Katie. And Katie said that the way they did that, they didn't really use the system's capabilities. They just actually put like text boxes all over this thing. And she said, if you're gonna ask me to do this, it's gonna be a whole lot of work. And since they own it, they've got it. And
We need that professional level. We truly do. That's
I'm thinking
wonderful.
that I want to get this thing printed and replace that one.
Place there, yeah, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I need, that's another assignment for.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you. Do you think, what is your opinion about the obviousness of hiding the observation areas?
I don't know what that means. What, as far as observation area, does that?
Well, so observation area, you go to the road end ordinance. And you go, see, now it should go to the top of the road end.
That's all right.
If you go to section 8. And I'll just read it to you, since it's so small. Except as otherwise prohibited by this ordinance, the general public may utilize any public road and or right of way as extended into Lake Michigan, the Channel Piers, and Portage Lake for firefighting, water access to the lakes, fishing, swimming, boating, and uses incidental thereto, provided such activities do not create a safety hazard I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong damn one. It's A above it. As to the public road ends for which the permissible use is described as public access, pedestrian traffic to and from the water's edge or to the channel pier is allowed pursuant to section 8B. Outlet Avenue and Arborvitae may be utilized pursuant to section 8B as well as section 4. For all other road ends for which the permissible use is described as observation area, pedestrian access is discouraged because direct access may be detrimental to the environment and or dangerous to the pedestrians. These areas will generally be maintained in a natural state.
We should include a definition somewhere on there, because if I know that, then I won't go there. But if it's an observation area, you're not telling me what it is, it makes me want to go find out,
So
just
So
saying.
let's go back to,
So you really don't want me to go there,
So
right?
in
Well-
general, observation area means do not alter it, I
Right.
would say. The people can't knock it down so they can pull a boat in or whatever,
right,
or, you can go there, walk there.
Can't
but-
put a,
right, that's the problem, the way the ordinance is written, because they've always been observation areas, and there's been lawsuits throughout the state, this whole
Mhm.
situation. That's why here, observation area, not public access. So we're trying to figure out in the
that's
word,
confusing, yeah, for
Yeah.
people.
Well, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Observation, if they don't want you on there,
Why
it shouldn't
didn't go
even, don't publicize.
okay, so this is an important point because, we have the link to the clear definition. We have the sort of the traditional understanding that people have. And then we have, how funky it looks. I mean, my vote would be, if we don't want them there, just take that section off. You can, but the problem is then you've got them all identified. I mean, they're identified as little bitty numbers.
We do it as an asterisk, and then that asterisk takes you to a footnote, observation areas are protected, environmental areas or whatever.
Yeah. I think
So
this.
this battle's been going on for 20 years, and I'm attempting to try to put it in a map format. For now, I think we've covered our bases with what our output to the 5-year plan is. I was just curious about how to handle this because I know all the baggage associated with it.
Are they identified at the site? I think some of these places, they have the big signs and the posts.
That's the public access, has the nice
Yeah.
metal poles.
And that's why in the road end ordinance, it says they will be kept in a natural state. Nothing is done to the observation area.
I know what to do. Go back,
To where?
please, to the grid where you were. What if you just flip this? Not public access, observation road ends. Nice and so.
That works for me.
Yeah.
So there's nine areas?
Yes,
Is that,
yeah.
what are they?
See that?
They're-
Ivanhoe,
the road-
Lakeside, Alley H, Avenue E.
So it's like
8th
you can
Street,
drive up to
Avenue
it or
C,
walk up to it.
3rd Street.
They're included because they're owned by the public, but,
When
well,
you go to these, you
Yeah,
you
yeah, 'cause-
can't,
no, right.
like,
Yeah,
people like
see 'em.
live there, right? Like, it's like, it doesn't, you
Well-
can't tell there's one there most of
Right.
the
I'll
time.
give you an example that's very, very near and dear to me.
Okay.
It's the road in next to my house. Okay, so if you go to that road end, it's all beautiful woods and so on, so then you come right down to where you're getting close to the lake and it's straight up a hill.
And there's a sign that says something about observation there.
No, there's no signs, not at any of the observation areas, I don't believe, but there could be. Well, anyway, at mine, if you go up like this, it's very difficult to get to the top. And then it's a cliff. Now, it's a cliff that teenagers would be happy to jump down
Right.
and climb back up. And as they climb back up, it starts to come down a little bit more. So it's dangerous and it damages the environment. And that's why it's observation area. stay off it.
I like Sherry's idea.
And
Flip it.
well,
Just the easiest
would it
way.
would it make this map more clear? Because before the map is like that, it's just missing everything. It's just
So it's truly not an axis, but it's
It's like just a public reserve.
But almost like yeah.
So
Yeah, but
people
that-
can't build their cottage.
We have to
Yeah.
keep the word observation in there.
Yeah, but I
that's what
would
it's
just,
legally
I would just take it
categorized.
off the map. If you're not encouraging use of it, you know, it can be public access, but. You know, if people don't know about it, they're not gonna go there.
Well, I like that idea as well, but I just don't know that Parks and Rec Committee should be making decision to hide things, because that would be construed as hiding things.
or could we put it like an asterisk on there? Something about not an access, pending further. I don't know what the word is.
Just-
There's no pending.
Or something like.
If anyone goes on the access section of my house and causes the water to come through, there'll be a big lawsuit.
Right, that's what I'm saying, pending further investigation.
Well, no, these are observation areas. There's no further investigation. They're observation areas. We don't want people on them.
But
I
our
like what
job
Gary's
is to,
doing too, and then maybe add something like non-development area or something like that.
develop.
Cause that's, to me, when I think about it, what's the main purpose of this? It's just so,
It's more of a,
Something
like you
else.
said, preserve.
yes, people can't build a cottage on it or a driveway or put a dock in it, or,
So
you
your issue is the word observation is creating a
Yeah.
misunderstanding.
know, yeah.
If it was, instead of, if changing one word, instead of observation area, it was preserved area.
Protected.
Protected area,
Protected.
something like in those though that, preserve or protected area. That doesn't, cause the word observation
Makes
means
you wanna go.
you're gonna go do something, you're gonna go observe something, you're gonna go over and
Like, I
look.
get to see.
Okay, so there's two things here. There is the map and there is, are we going to make a recommendation to the board to change an ordinance? Because changing an ordinance is a much bigger deal.
Yes. I think it's a good idea to try to change you, I mean, if it truly shouldn't be.
Access.
Accessed or walked, like you're saying, it's a cliff, it's gonna wreck the dune and all this stuff. But if you say observation, to mean, I'm just saying for myself, but I'm thinking like the vast public, if they go by and they're like, hey, that thing on the map says observation area, let's go see what you see from there.
It's
I-
free.
It's inviting you to go observe
I
something.
don't disagree. It's just the wording that's been in the ordinance.
But if it was something protected area or protected.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying do we want to take this as a project to go to the board
I
and
think
say?
you should.
Yes, yes, we do.
I would-
So this-
I would vote the protected area. The observation, whoever made the comment, I'm sorry, I'm on the phone, it breaks up, is inviting somebody. So I think it's valid. You're acknowledging it's there, you're not hiding it, and you're just saying it's a protected area, period, end of story. Good night, Irene.
Cool.
Okay,
So Vic,
yes.
until the ordinance is one thing, but if they just flip for now, that the non-public access. At least temporarily, like do that straight up in case
Yeah, well,
it takes a while to get the ordinance fixed.
No. It will.
Okay.
And we're just saying, what we're gonna do is we're going to start with, not public access,
Yeah,
and then in parentheses,
observation.
Yeah, and the board is currently looking at, we're, changing an ordinance right now. We're going through that process, so this may be a good time to do it. The ordinance that we're looking at is the noise ordinance. Because we're not consistent across different,
Language.
well, like, there's a noise ordinance for certain residences, and then there's a noise ordinance for the park. So we were trying to make it all one time. So instead of like saying, oh, at this park, you can be loud until 11, and this one over here is 10. It should be one, like, whatever the time that people come up with, it should be a consistent thing across the whole gamut of parks and.
Sorry, I have to leave.
I do too,
If I
I
can
do
help
too.
with something, reach out to me.
Okay,
I'm kind of like listening and trying to absorb all this.
just so you know, though,
Brian, hi.
Nice to meet you.
I'm a trustee, represented for the village.
Great.
I gotta wrap up at 9:32, but just so everybody's on the same page. We are submitting a grant tonight for to meet the March 1 deadline for the Langland project, which right now we're estimating the cost to be 69,000. We're gonna put 20,000 in from the board. The board did motions to approve that. And so I'm waiting for a few more letters of support. And then the board also did a motion that we go forward on the Glen submission to the DNR trust fund. So we're going forward with that after all these years, not the bridge on the top, but the getting it ADA access to the thing down at the bottom. So we're making a little headway. We have a grant writer who we've established a contract with to do the grant submission for us using a submission that was already done by Rich Lipinski several years ago, but we didn't win it. So we're gonna go back and try the trust fund again this year. And then I did the budget, and you guys have got the budget. It's not our budget, it's what I've submitted. And all the footnotes are on the bottom to help you understand exactly why I did it. The one thing that's very confusing, it shows professional services, that's like $90,000. That's because the way the bookkeeping is done here is there's $66,000 yet left in the Michigan Health Endowment Fund grant that was given to the Trails team. And so the balance of that 66, if it is to be spent, it will be spent through Parks and Rec. So I have to account for it in our budget. So when you look at like 96 or 99, whatever the dollar amount is that I have for professional services, 96, that's really just $30,000, which is a lot. But I put $30,000 in there because we do have, some intense projects going on. So,
Hey, Beck,
yeah,
so we have received invoices for F&V then, because the original amount was 103,000. So they sent bills and it's only 60,000 left. I just want to verify that.
well, yeah, what the most recent that I've seen is that you have $66,000 left of the 108 after the spending to date. Therefore, I had to take the delta between the two and make that your spend for this year, knowing you may or may not, but it's in the budget because in a completely separate category that's not visible to us, the donations category, it's found over there and we need to make them balance out. So,
Okay. Hey, Matt,
Yeah,
can you check, because I haven't seen any bills come from F&V. So afterwards, if you could visit with the clerk just to make sure, because it sounds like they might have submitted a bill and we paid it, just so we know it. I'd appreciate it.
with that, unless there's anything else, I'm going to adjourn just because I got to run. Does anybody have anything else? All right, we won't do it this fast next time, I promise, but I just gotta pick up my son at 2:40, so I gotta roll. Meeting adjourned at 9:33. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, now I need to stop the recording.
I took a picture.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
great.
can probably talk
Or
about
something
that next
like
week.
that.
It's gonna be snow.
Okay, good.
yeah, we can
Um,
check out the different. Let's see once the snow's gone.
Yeah. Have you been to the disc golf thing at Udell Hills?
I've been up there, but I haven't